Hey, welcome back to Rolling Stone Acres. Some more, another tractor video, I guess, for you. And today I'm going to work on my my Bobcat. Not really work on the tractor. This is a, if you're new to the channel, this is a Bobcat CT 2025. Very, very useful tractor. Except, like every tractor, it has basically no storage anywhere. So I did put this small ammo can on here. You'd be amazed the amount of stuff I have in there. I have a chain, I have a strap, I have a choker chain, I have a T-post puller, I have pliers. I've got a little bit of everything in there. But I found out the other day when I was going to the back of the property, I needed to take my chainsaw to the back of the property, and there's no good way to haul a chainsaw on a tractor without either buying one of those, what they call a saw haul, which usually bolt right here, and it's like a scabbard, and the bar goes down into that scabbard. Those are nice and they work really well. They're pretty pricey, so I've got an idea. I don't haul a chainsaw all that much, so I mean, if I was cutting firewood and burning it in my home, I would definitely have one of those. But for the few times that I need it, we're going to do something a little bit different. And I also want a basket back here, just to put random things in when I'm going around the property, whether it be tools or bar and chain oil or whatever it is that I want to haul. Like I said, I don't use a saw that much, but there is other things, an extension cord. I mean, you'd be surprised what you're hauling on the tractor when you're working the property. So I've seen these baskets that you can buy that are, they bolt basically right to the ROPS, or the rollover protection system. They're really nice. They're a little bit pricey also, and they're not, I don't know how I say it, they're maybe not exactly how I would build it. So I've just decided to build my own, and I can customize it the way I want. So my first thought was I would come off of here, I would build an angle iron frame with some expanded metal, and I'll utilize this existing hole for one side, and I've got a U-bolt for the other side. And what I want to do is mount a bigger ammo can that would come back and actually touch that angle iron frame, if I can do this one-handed. So basically the angle iron is going to go here, and then that ammo can I'll either weld to the angle iron or bolt on so that everything's touching. And then I'll bring that basket out probably 10 or 12 inches, obviously go across maybe 6 inches deep or 8 inches deep. And then on the back of that, I'm going to actually build my own scabbard for the chainsaw to go into. So for the few times that I need to haul a chainsaw, I'll be able to do that safely. So that's kind of my thought process. It'll probably change as we get into the video a little bit and I start designing and fabricating and realizing that things aren't going to work. My one concern is the ability to fill. And if my basket's coming out here and up to about here, that's could be a concern. Thankfully I have like a bendable neck on my fill can. If need be, I can put a trap door in the bottom of the expanded metal and do it that way. And the other concern is my ROPS. I normally have this down, touching this to be able to fit into the shed, and I've got it at like the 3/4 position right now, and I need to see if it'll fit in the shed like that. Otherwise I may have to rethink some things there too. So let's get started. All right, it's a new day. Through the power of editing, you can tell the tractor's not sitting here anymore. In fact, it's over in the shed, put away. Two problems. I bought too thick of angle iron, three problems. Too thick, too small, and my chop saw blade was completely shot. So I was just, it was not working. So I decided to just get the right size angle iron that I originally wanted. So I hope you can see my vision here. There's my expanded metal. This is basically the size of the basket, and then I'll have my angle iron in the corner here, so it'll be 8 inches high. I will line the bottom sides, of course, and the sides with the expanded metal. And earlier when we were talking about the tractor, that ammo can is going to come touch on this side, and then the scabbard for the saw will be on this side. So yeah, I'm trying to figure out where I can weld this, because this table is all uneven, and I really need a welding table, which I don't have. I could use my table saw, now that I'm just thinking about it out loud here. That's nice and flat, but I don't really want to mar up my table saw if I get some weld on there. So I will figure something out for that. But like I said, hopefully you can see my vision. We'll get this welded up, and I'll have to get the plasma cutter out and start cutting some pieces of expanded. I bought really heavy expanded metal on purpose because, well, part of the reason I'm doing my own is because the ones I've seen online are kind of cheap, and you know, I don't want to have that wavy in there. If I put something heavy, I didn't want to have to put supports in there because it kind of defeats the purpose of having expanded metal. I mean, yes and no, if you get what I'm saying. But anyway, let me figure out a spot where I can get this welded up decent, and I'll give you an update soon. All right, well, here's what I got so far. I grabbed a piece of plywood, excuse me, out of the shop to cover my wavy table with a wavy piece of big box store lumber. But it seems to be somewhat okay. You know, it's starting on fire every time I make a weld, but that's fine. I mean, worst case scenario, we'll just flip it off into the grass and stomp on it if we have to. I've got my magnetic square. I've also got my carpenter square, so I've been kind of double checking myself. Just kind of get everything tacked and not go crazy with the welding until I get my other side or top or bottom, whatever you want to call it, made. And then we'll kind of eyeball everything and see how we can square it up before I, you know, get too crazy with the welder. All right, well, hopefully this will help you see the vision a little more clearly. This is just tacked, and these are just sitting here. Don't worry if it looks all crooked and cattywampus, nothing's permanent yet. I'm thinking a little bit, I was kind of thinking, well, I'm kind of limiting my space with the angle iron. Maybe I should have done flat stock, but then I remembered I've got to have a protective edge for the expanded metal anyway. I wouldn't want to have that, you know, exposed there. So I just got to figure out a way to square this up, whether it be clamping, and that's probably my best bet, is I'll just clamp each corner, get it tacked, and then we can start measuring and cutting for the expanded metal. All right, there it is. Get everything tack welded and semi-permanent. I'll go through and finish up all my welds and then grind half of it off because my welds are terrible. But hey, you know, when you only pick up a welder about once a year, it's about the time I get back into the rhythm is about the time I'm done with the project. So let me start making some measurements and we'll get this laid out. Got my plasma cutter right here on top of the welder. So we'll make some cuts and hopefully they're right. Measure twice, cut once, or something like that. We'll figure it out. All right, got the plasma cutter fired up. I've got it marked. Actually had to set my guide a little bit over because, if I'm making any sense here, the tip of the plasma cutter is in a little bit. So anyway, I won't bore you with all of that, but I'll make one cut here and then we'll determine what we got to do. See how that goes. We're getting there. Got the 3 pieces cut. Got to do the 2 side pieces yet. Plasma cutter makes quick work of that. Get everything welded in and we can start thinking about how I'm going to mount it to the tractor. I kind of already know. And then that scabbard, which I might save for another day. My main concern is getting this on. And I don't know if I mentioned it, but I got some hooks for like shovels and stuff too. So not sure how I'm going to incorporate all that together, because if I have a scabbard here, it might interfere with my hooks. I might have to do an extra, maybe a flat stock or something on the bottom for the hooks for the shovel or rake or whatever I want to carry. I was hoping to be able to carry 2, but I might be able to do them across the top here. Put one here, and just have it across the top. That might work. Just kind of thinking as I'm going here and making something happen. Okay, here is the not finished product, but we're basically ready for paint at this point. I did end up welding those top joints. I wasn't sure if I was going to, and then I just kind of ground it off for a nice clean look. Kind of rounded out the edges a little bit. I've got some pinholes and stuff here, but I'm not going to worry about that. The paint I use is really good. It'll hide most of those imperfections, and after all, it is just a basket on a tractor. But I've got my chainsaw out here, and I'm kind of going over some options for the scabbard. I would build that scabbard right here, similar to this, but a little bigger, a little thicker, a little more heavy duty. But now I'm questioning myself, do I want it sticking out like that? Most of the chainsaw holders I see, sorry, trying to do this one-handed, you know, they would mount it long ways like that, less chance of it bouncing out. I could put it in this way and then just throw a bungee or something over the top just so it doesn't bounce out. And I really want to wait until I get it mounted on the tractor for that, because there could be something in the way over here, or it could be sticking way too far out, and so on and so forth. So I think the next step is get it bolted in the tractor. Then we can worry about saw and rake holder and how we're going to do the ammo can and all of that. I did kind of just hold it up there briefly last night, just to kind of see, and I may be relocating from where I originally thought I was going to put it. So we'll get the tractor over here and get our mount situated and then go from there. All right, here's where I'm at. Kind of rethinking. Not sure which way I'm going to go with yet. My original plan was to have it basically flush with the ROPS using this existing bracket and have it be out here, and this would be the bottom, so down another maybe 2 inches. That does restrict me a little bit on my fuel. I thought about putting it here, and I've got some U-bolts for mounting. That would be about the simplest. If I do that, remember I had that ammo can sitting right there. I had that here. That interferes with that, which I can remount the ammo can somewhere else. It's getting really tall. This is basically as tall as I am to get a saw in and out if I do the scabbard this way, which I'm okay with because I don't haul the saw that much. And I still could put it in long ways. So my ammo can was bolted on those tabs right there, which I wouldn't be able to do anymore. I can use these tabs as support. I could build a support bracket here. I could remount my ammo can over here, space that out a little bit so that it still opens and closes. Or I could go back to my original plan, and then my ammo can would still go where it was. So just kind of toying with ideas, trying to figure out the best scenario. Okay, here's where we're at. This is the mounting way I decided to go with. This looks a little janky. I'm gonna clean that up, clean my welds up a little bit. Not real happy with the looks, but I'm happy with the rigidity of it. I don't want everything to rely on just the U-bolts. I did get the holes cut for the U-bolts, and yes, I know I'm not gonna put that over the wire. It's just temporary while I'm checking things, making sure all my holes are lined up. So, try to back this up a little bit. There we go. I like this better, less chance of hitting my head on it when I'm hooking up the 3-point. Gives me plenty of room for my fuel. It is gonna make it a little more challenging for the saw, but that's okay. Like I said, the little bit that I use the saw. So now we're down to probably putting some flat stock here. 2 pieces here and here. And the reason for that is gonna be a perch for the ammo can. So I can step that out a little bit so it'll have room for the lid to open and close and not hit right here. Maybe 1/2 inch or something. 2 pieces of flat stock there, and I can either bolt or weld the ammo can onto the flat stock. And that'll work good for my hitch pins. I can bolt it here like I had the ammo can, so that's gonna add the extra stability. Getting closer. Here we go. Got the basically the finished product. I didn't get the saw scabbard done yet. I'm actually going to save that for a separate video, just in case someone maybe already has one of these or wants to mount it in a different location. I'm going to do a separate video on just the saw scabbard. Don't mind that right there, but just showing you that I can haul like a rake or a shovel. I've got my 3/8 chain in there. I ended up doing the U-bolts. I've got to nip those off and touch up the paint a little bit where I nicked it, but just cut those short so I don't cut myself on them. I cut them short already, but once I tightened it up, they pulled through, and I got to cut them shorter yet. Got my ammo can. And what I keep in the ammo can, just gloves. I've got a little choker chain. I've got some tools, hitch pins. Down on the bottom, there's a T-post puller. But it is solid as a rock. I mean, if I shake this, I'm shaking the whole tractor. I've got it bolted on the bottom, obviously. Ended up doing a steel plate for the ammo can. That worked out really good. I offset it just a little bit so that the seat can go all the way back. That way, if my son drives it, he'll be able to put the seat all the way back. I usually have it pretty much where it is right now. Super happy with the way it came out. I've got tons more room for other things in here if I need them. I can add back here some more if I need another, shovel holder or something. I've got room to do that. So thanks for coming along. Make sure you like and subscribe. Comment if you don't mind. I always read the comments. And appreciate that very much. And remember,
y'all be kind to each other, and God loves you.